Spartanburg. Now we can get
Yes,
to
sir.
your issue.
I've gotten a lot of constituent correspondence about this moving from the treasurer to the Department of Education. I would like to move that we just leave it with the treasurer
So,
and open that up for discussion.
you know, we had those conversations. I will tell you, Senator, I've heard this. I've heard the same thing, and a lot of the concerns coming from the public. So, Senator from Beaufort, correct me if I'm wrong. The initial iteration of your bill, it was the treasurer's office, and then there was some discussion early on about moving it to the Department of Education, only because there was already a system in place, or there will be a system in place to manage these things. Senator from Lexington and I actually initially talked about
Treasurer.
keeping it at the treasurer to begin with, but maintaining some continuity and a one-stop shop for parents' ease of use made sense to me. But I have the same concerns Senator from Spartanburg had. I think a lot of the concerns that are coming from the public are fears that I don't think are fair, but nevertheless, they're there. I don't think there's anything in the bill that provides for the Department of Education to get into the curriculum per se of a private school or any other entity out there. Again, but with that said, there are many people that have that concern. So from that standpoint, I'm almost willing to just say, keep it with the treasurer, remove that fear, and move on.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator from Beaufort.
I tend to agree with the Senator from Spartanburg's motion in this regard. We had this discussion early on. I think Senator Setzler and you, Mr. Chairman, indicated that you thought that the functions being performed fell more neatly in the treasurer's office. The senator from Horry was of the opinion that since we had just put into place this ESA apparatus, that maybe, that was a better place, and I was kind of persuaded back and forth. I'm reminded of, what Oliver Wendell Holmes once said, is that a page of history is worth a volume of logic. There might not be a lot of logic to the fear, because you still have a state agency involved in kind of monitoring or supervising the program. It's just the treasurer instead of the Department of Education. Nonetheless, the history has been, and it may not be the case and it may not be fair, but the perception has been that private schools and homeschools, they want to be independent of the Department of Education. And by housing the program there, even nominally, or it feeds that fear. So if it's just a mechanical running of the program, I've got no problem with the Senator from Spartanburg's motion to substitute treasurer for superintendent. I mean, it's as a practical matter, not going to make any difference, but as a matter of public perception, it may. I want to make this comment. I understand where the Senator from Clarendon and the Senator from Lexington, but I really appreciate, even though you're not for the bill, I appreciate you digging in and making such substantive and good comments to make this bill as best it can be, even though it may not be something that you're for. And you deserve credit for that. I appreciate that. I mean, a lot of good changes, and this bill is a heck of a lot better than it was when it was on the floor. So I thank you for that.
All right, so I'm hearing
the motion.
There's a motion and there's a second. I don't know if we need. We're still working with the working document, but fair enough. Yes, sir. That's what the process is, and we appreciate that. I appreciate your comments. So
We're going to advance that with the
we'll advance
treasurer.
that and move it back to the treasurer, and then you had another
I
comment.
would like to bring one other thing up. I've gotten a lot of constituent emails about taking homeschoolers out, but I think to the Senator from Beaufort's point, I think we need to wait till full to find out if their concern is being a part of the bill, or if it's a concern of them going under the Department of Education if they wanted to take a part of this. So I think it would be in our best interest to make sure their concerns before we take them out in sub and then have to put them back in full.
Sure. Again, Senator, I appreciate that. That's a good recommendation. I've heard many of the same comments as well, and pretty adamant about being removed. I would be curious to see if any of the changes that we've talked about today change hearts and minds, or if we need to do that. So we'll leave the homeschools in. So here is, sure.
Just make sure I'm following everything. So I'm going to change all the references to the superintendent and SDE over to the treasurer, like I said in the original bill. And if we're doing that, I'll take out because we are in Title 12 here, department, generally in Title 12 means Department of Revenue, so I'm going to put department, it's going to mean Department of Revenue now for this bill, not Department of Education, which is how it would generically cover. So moving everything back to the treasurer, and department's going to now mean the Department of Revenue, and if we spell out anything for SDE, we will specifically say Department of Education.
All right, so here's the question for the committee. Are you comfortable with us passing this out, allowing Grant to put this together, or would you rather him put it together, circulate to us? We have a brief meeting on Thursday before we leave, and taking the subcommittee vote then.
I think it's fine.
Okay. Well, then I would entertain a motion that we, for a favorable report out of sub, with the adjustments and changes that we've discussed here, and allow staff to put that together for us.
So moved.
They're saying it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you all. I know this was a lot of work to dig into, and I appreciate you. Pardon me? And we do have a budget hearing tomorrow. I appreciate everybody's work on this. Thank you. We stand adjourned.